Hey guys, it's Joe from American Trucks, and today we're going to be talking about the AMP throttle booster with switch fitting all 09 and newer F-150s. Now this little guy right here, this is going to be the perfect option for any F-150 owner out there that's just unhappy with the way their throttle pedal feels and they're looking to make some adjustments on the fly. So in order for us to understand what the AMP throttle booster is going to do for your truck, we have to go back in time a little bit, talk about how things used to be done versus how they're done today in the modern age. Now, in the olden days, it used to be a hard connection between the throttle pedal and the throttle body butterfly valve. Whether it was with a cable or a linkage, basically, as soon as you press that throttle pedal down, that butterfly valve is gonna open with no lag whatsoever. However, today things have changed around a little bit and we now use what is called drive-by-wire, at least on most modern cars. Now what that means is when you press your throttle pedal down, it's going to send a voltage off to a computer, and that computer is going to interpret that and tell the throttle body how far to open up. That is all well and good. It's a perfect system. It makes cars a little bit easier to design as you're not designing around a linkage. However, there is a little bit of lag introduced when the voltage goes off to the computer. That computer has to then send that off to the throttle body. It's not as snappy as that hard connection, and this is where our AMP throttle booster comes into play. What this is going to do is up the voltage going to the computer system, and given the same input, what that would do is basically trick the computer into opening the throttle body further, giving the illusion of more throttle response. Now, one thing I want to stress, this is not a tuner. In fact, this isn't going to plug into the OBD2 port at all, but more in line with the throttle pedal harness and the throttle pedal itself. This offers you 6 settings of throttle response. You have extreme, which is the most response, high, medium, low, stock if you don't want to change the characteristics whatsoever, and there's even a valet mode, which is going to dull that voltage going off to the computer, and that's going to make sure that any kids or valets out there don't pull the old Ferris Bueller trick with your F-150. Now, like I said earlier, this is not a tuner. This is just going to install before our harness gets to our throttle pedal and basically change the voltage around. Now that means this can be run without a tune. However, if your truck is tuned, you can run this alongside of it, but that makes this great because if you ever want to go back to stock completely, all you have to do is unplug this harness here and you're basically going to go right back to the factory settings. So completely reversible, no mods required. However, you can hard mount this if you're looking for a more permanent solution. Another thing I want to stress about something like this, and this isn't going to apply to the AMP specifically, but more throttle boosters in general, this is not going to grant you any horsepower. Once your throttle body is open all the way, that's it. Once it opens 90 degrees, you're letting the most amount of air through possible, and that's all your engine can take advantage of. This is going to be more for the guy that's unhappy with the way their power delivery feels when they press the pedal down. They're looking to get a little bit more snappier of a response. Again, this isn't going to give you horsepower, but if you're in the camp that needs a little bit more throttle response out of your F-150, this is going to be a great buy. Coming in right around $300, this is going to be a relatively easy way to fix a throttle response issue rather than going into aftermarket intake manifolds, throttle bodies, stuff like that. Again, you're gonna know if you're in the camp that needs something like this. If you're just unhappy with that throttle pedal, again, this is gonna be a great option, and it even includes a 1-year limited warranty. The install for this is going to be really simple. Again, just plugs in right before the throttle pedal. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Should take you 30 to 60 minutes depending on whether or not you wanna zip tie things together or you wanna actually go and hard mount this thing, but that is gonna be up to you. So without any further ado, let me show you what tools you'll need and how it's done. If you do wanna hard mount this, the only tools you'll need for this install will include a ratchet, 8mm socket, and a drill and some drill bits. However, if you don't want to go that route, you could always use the zip ties and 3M double-sided tape that come in the kit. All right, so here we are in the footwell of our F-150, and right on top of the throttle pedal, you can see this plug that I've been talking about. We're just gonna press that red tab up. That's just a safety catch, and then you can press in, and that should pull right off like so. Now, once we have that done, we can go and grab this end of our AMP wiring harness. We're just gonna grab this male end, and that's gonna plug into the truck's harness. And then we can press that red tab back down to secure it. And then this female end, this is gonna go right back on top of our throttle pedal. And then we can press that red tab down to secure it as well. Now we can go ahead and plug in our switch. We're gonna grab this little mounting bracket as well as that throttle sensitivity ring. And that is just gonna slide in like so. And then once we have that on, we just come around here to the back. It's gonna plug right into the wiring harness we just installed, like so. And we can put that aside because the next thing we're gonna work with is this control box right here. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take it out of its casing. There's a release tab on either side. And that pulls up like so. We're just gonna hold on to the sides of the PCB here. Plug that in. Just like that. So now that we have everything hooked up, we're just gonna turn the key on. And sorry for the chime, guys. And we're just gonna turn that to the accessories. Now we see level blinking right there. And when you see that, we're just gonna go ahead and press learn pedal. You should see the rest of the lights come on. And all we're gonna do over the next 15 seconds is we're gonna slowly depress and release the throttle pedal while this thing learns what kind of voltage it can expect out of the pedal. Now, once the status light begins to flash like that, our pedal is learned and we can go ahead and slide this back into the case. So now our throttle pedal is learned. We have this case lid back on. We have power to our switch. This is functional. However, it's up to you whether or not you want to hard mount these things. This switch does include some self-tapping screws for the bracket. You get some holes on the side here. You can zip tie this up however you want. One thing I would recommend is making sure any wires are out of the way of the pedals. You definitely don't want those two things to get tangled up in each other. But again, this is really up to you however you want to mount this box, hard mount, zip ties, whatever you want to do. Guys, that is gonna do it for me. It's also gonna do it for the AMP throttle booster with switch fitting all 09 and newer F-150s. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more like this one. Keep it right here at American Trucks for all things F-150.